Hi, I wanted to talk to you about the home buying process for the buyers. So one of the most important things to do in step one is to meet with a real estate professional so that you can figure out what it is that you want to buy, the size of the home, where you want to live. All this information is of course very, very important. Now, just to let you know, the buyer's advantage in this whole process is a lot of people don't understand that the buyers actually do not pay a commission normally. There are some companies, auction is one of them, where they actually have the buyer pay the commission, but outside of that, the regular listings in the MLS, it's the seller that pays the commission for the buyer's agent and the listing agent, so the buyers don't pay any of that. Then the most important thing after that is you need to get approved. So for that, you will need to provide your financials to your loan officer, which is your W-2s, your taxes, pay stubs, bank statements, and anything that would support the income that you're making. If you are retired, we can use retirement income, Social Security income, any kind of income that we can prove that it's been going on for minimum 2 years, and it will be continued for at least another 4 years. So if you have child support, and your child's 10 years old, for instance, so that can be used as income. Now, if you want to use the child support as income, but your son is 17 years old, then obviously you can't, because by the time they're 18, they won't have any of that child support. So provide the financials and get you approved. Then we start looking for the homes. So you can get together with your real estate agent, and they will send you the homes that meet the criteria that you have, and so that way they can go ahead and find the home that you want. Then you make an offer. Now, for the time of the offer, it's very important to make the offer part of the things. For instance, not only the sales price, do you need help with closing costs? The market has definitely shifted, and so this is an amazing and great time to ask either for closing costs. My favorite right now is asking for money to buy down the interest of your home. With the interest being so high, if you got a buy down interest loan, they are fixed. They have like a 3-1 buy down, for instance, where it would start out like at 2 3/4. It'll make 2 additional changes, and then it'll remain fixed for the remaining of those years. So those are really good right now, but that gives you your payment a lot lower. Now in the buy down, the seller is the one that has to pay the fee to buy down the interest so low. So like I said, this is a great time, because had you bought when the market was crazy, this is something you could never get a seller to do. Right now, the seller could do that. Instead of dropping the sales price, they can go ahead and assist in buying down your interest, so you have a much lower payment. But all that has to be negotiated when you make an offer. If you want them to replace the carpet, again, that's something we couldn't get done before. This is the perfect time to doing that, so you would make that part of your offer. So negotiation, the contract is very, very important. Now, you could submit an offer, your agent could submit an offer for you, and then the seller can come back and say, no, I don't want this, but I can go that. We can counter and go back and forth and try to negotiate to the final number or the final thing that you need to do that. Once this is all done, then you will go into escrow. Now, you do have to put a deposit, and it has to be in escrow within 3 days. So you send the deposit to escrow. Now, let's say with your down payment and closing costs, you need to come in with $40,000. So if you send a $10,000 deposit, that means it'll get credited towards the $40,000 that you will end up paying. So whatever the deposit is, it will be credited toward the final number that you need. Now, the things that you need to know that you pay out of pocket, you have to pay for an appraisal out of pocket. Some lenders have you pay for your credit report, which is not very expensive, but the appraisals can be a little bit high. If you're going to do a home inspection, now home inspections are not required, but I would never buy a home without doing a home inspection. So I think it's really important to do, but that's something that will be paid out of pocket. And then the rest of it, of the closing costs, will be documented by escrow. And at the end of the escrow period, then you can go ahead and give the remaining of the money that you need to have. And so the final details, preparing for closing. Some of the things that you really have to remember: don't change jobs, don't get any new debt, Don't cancel any credit cards because that'll affect your FICO score. The lender will do one more credit check before closing to make sure you don't have any new debt or your FICO score hasn't really dropped. So this is preparing for the closing, how much money you're going to need, and then the money will be wired to escrow, and escrow will take care of the lending part of it, paying the owner what he owes, and then paying commissions. So the closing is actually the transfer of the funds. The title company or attorney in certain states, it acts as an independent third party to facilitate the closing. Normally you get the keys the day it closes, but let's say somebody needed 3 or 4 days to move out because they need to pack. Again, this is something that it's negotiated from the very start. So if that was not discussed or negotiated the day of the closing, let's say it's at 5 o'clock and it's closing, it's recorded, then that's when you would get the keys. So I hope this helps you, and if you need any more information, please reach out to me and I would be happy to go through the system or get you approved. I do have a lot of lenders that we know, and depending on what type of loan you're doing, especially like if you're buying land, for instance, if you want to renovate, that's another great loan right now. Those are things that you can get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to give you those numbers. Thank you. This is Patty Villanueva with eXp Realty.